Good morning. What a pretty spring day. Can you see how gorgeous it is? I give you a bit of a backstory. I'm headed out the dock. So you can see it's a brand new dock. It's back to the house. But I'm headed out here because there's a houseboat that's lodged up against our property. So here's the origin of this houseboat. There was a man who lived on it, and it was anchored out further over there in the cove, south of where we live on the St. Johns River. And he commuted to work by Boston Whaler or John Boat or something like that. We'd hear him leaving in the mornings, and then he would come home at the end of the day, and this was his home. 2 hurricanes ago, Matthew, Irma, this thing cut loose and wedged right here, right on our property. We haven't had much luck getting it removed by Coast Guard, Freshwater Fish Commission, Corps of Engineers. Nobody really wants to touch it. So the reason nobody really wants to touch it is, of course, funding. It'll cost a lot of money to remove something like this. It's a lot bigger than it looks. I think it's about 60 feet by 30 feet, something of that nature. It's pretty big. It's been ransacked some, and this will be the first time we've actually gone on board it, because we always looked at it as somebody else's property. The man died, and he did not leave a will, and his relatives don't want it. They don't want the expense of removing it. They don't want to deal with it. It does have a registration. Apparently you can register even a 2x4 if you want. But not so sure that it qualifies for derelict vessel, because although it used to float, it does not have a means of propulsion or a steering device. And yes, I've thought about throwing a wheel and a motor on there just so somebody would pay to cart it off our property. So today, the plan is, it looks like we're probably going to end up being the ones who have to deal with this thing. Here it is, right up against our dock. It's a brand new dock, costs quite a bit for us to build. And if anything happens and this thing smashes into our dock, we're going to be pretty irritated. So I think Bill's going to start pulling out some plastics and line, anything that we can use, and then we've got to figure out what to do with all the rest of it. So I'm about to head in and look and see what all, oh boy, what all mess this is. Alright, what have we got here? Some little batteries. Oh, a trolling motor? Looks like somebody put a tent. That's kind of smart. They put a whole screen tent inside here. Looks like there was an oil lamp out here. There's a mirror. I suppose this was a sleeping quarters. Hey, maybe there's a bag of gold under there. Oh my goodness. Pyrex. Hey, Pyrex. Oh my gosh, look at this. There was like a little kitchen and pantry, even a vacuum.
Yeah,
a stove.
Shower.
Oh my gosh, we've got to redo this place. Bring it back to its former glory.
There's a sewing machine over there.
Possibly a shower.
Yeah, shower's the
something for cutting the stuff straight.
There's a seafoam over there. I'm gonna
look at all this junk. We don't know if we've got to deal with all this junk or if somebody else will be.
I got
Ooh, a whole bunch of line.
Yeah, I got this junk.
We don't know if we're going to have to deal with this junk or if somebody else is going to come take care of this thing. Wow, looks like all the windows, that's kind of smart. All the windows were able to be closed and locked from the inside. What a bunch of junk. Oh, fire extinguisher, no kidding. And a map of places to go. So I guess this was like a dining room table. Don't know what was going on with that. Chair. Old Farmer's Almanac. This will probably, oh, the elegant punt. This might be a good place to start right here. Might be some interesting things. I recognize that. That's the St. John's River guy. Got a recorder, and look at that, a recorder. And it looks like some music under there. What an interesting bunch of stuff. Oh, and there's a prowling cat.
Here.
The trash pump belongs to the guys who are doing the dock. I don't know what all this is. Okay.
I'm going upstairs.
Up that way. Yep, so I'm checking out the stuff here. Plastic forks and knives. A little bit of cooking gear. One plate, one fork. And then kind of funny is the shower drains right down into the river. I'm not so sure about the toilet. Hate to think where it drained.
What are you doing back there?
Checking out the mop.
Yes.
We'll have to check to see if there's anything in the oven. Found one of those lamps in the yard, so must have come from here. Hey, maybe that tin back there is full of money. I'm gonna be looking back in there. Checking through here. Seeing where's the gold? Where's the gold? Yeah. King gold. So after an initial survey, there's an awful lot of plastic, and here's a solar panel. Awful lot of plastic that needs to be taken out. The guy who lived here put a tent in the room, so the whole room became a tent, I suppose. But we've decided that we're going to reclaim some of these cleats. Get some tools and get some of these cleats and go ahead and repurpose them. What a gorgeous day. Jasper's out here helping us salvage, and Bill's gone for his tools so that we can get these cleats. And out of all this aggravation of possibly having to deal with this whole thing, maybe at least we can recycle a little bit of it.
I wonder if there's anything in it.
Just realized there are bat houses here. Nature's own mosquito eaters, right?
Wow. I just can't do respect to the guy.
Well, I mean, when you looked inside, you saw books on yoga, you saw musical instruments, sewing machine.
Did you want me to keep on the sewing machine?
It looks like it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough.
There are the sails to the sailboat that used to be out there. Hey, where did the sailboat go, by the way?
They came and they derelict vessels up there.
They actually took the sailboat away. The guy owned the sailboat and he owned this, but they haven't derelict vesseled this. So here it is. It looks like it's actually slamming into our dock, but it's not. It's actually a foot or two away and a little bit underneath it. Hi, kitty. So Bill's gonna get those cleats. So here is a cart absolutely stuffed full of really good line. There's some big 200-foot pieces under here, all different lengths. And you know, sailors just can't resist a mess of line, right? I guess I'll be making some doormats. At this point, we've written dozens of emails to city commissioners. We've met with them in person. We've even offered it to our dock builders, but they couldn't even use it for a work barge because after pounding up and down against our pilings for the last 2 years, it has a lot of damage and it has sunk in place. Thanks for watching, and if you have any ideas for us, please leave them in the comments below.